I got my haritaki powder. This is supposed to help cleanse the pineal gland. I'm gonna test it out. It's officially getting cold at night. Uh-oh. And I had some of the haritaki powder. And today the weirdest thing happened, the weirdest sign. I had a favorite tree when I was in California, and I'd never seen it anywhere before. And I probably put a video or picture of it during my time there somewhere in these video dialogues. And today I was walking down the street that I'm staying on right now, and there was that same tree. It had rained, so it looked a little bit beaten up. All the pink fluff was a little bit beaten up, but there it was. And it just makes me feel like those elements of beauty have found me back home. So I feel like I'm in the right place. I feel like it was a sign that I'm in the right place. I had a magical moment this morning when I realized the same pink tree, my favorite one in California, is on the block here. And I remember somebody once saying, "Don't move, everything happens around you." And I was pondering that today. It popped into my mind, and I was thinking of it literally, like, don't move away from here. Maybe I'm in the right place right now. So it's kind of magical that the hummingbirds are here where I've plopped myself to stay for a while, and the bunnies, and my favorite pink tree. And the last couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot of computer work and focusing a lot and doing just fine with it. But I'm getting into peer support just a little bit, and there's some paperwork for it and stuff on the computer. And as soon as I open it, it's like my mind stops. I can't think, I can't focus. There's a form I want to fill out to go to an event. So it's a professional development form, and I look at it and I feel like I can't even fill my name in the name field and fill out the form. It's a pretty simple form. And then there's another form I need to fill out for something, and I feel like such effort. And I actually remember this, and this is what happened last year when I was working that other peer support job. For a while I was doing fine with it, and then all of a sudden it got to a point where my brain just stopped. And I had a shift today, and after the shift my eyes felt kind of tired, even though it was really enjoyable for sure. So I'm wondering if it's worth it to do, because it seems to move me out of the flow of what I'm creating. So working in peer support, of course, is partly for the money, and I want to help people, but I feel like I'm creating something to possibly help people somewhat, but then by working in peer support for a bit of money, it might derail what I'm creating because I'm not able to maintain staying in flow. So the money might not be worth it. I'm not sure. And tomorrow I'm taking first aid, and that's early, and it's all day long. And today I made some juice, and I spilled some juice. Juicing is fun until you make a big effing mess. I'm really glad this wasn't beet juice. And it made a big mess. And I was thinking about how I remember watching some videos by some business guy where they put 10% of the budget towards mistakes. I can't remember who that was, but actually allowing for mistakes. And for some reason this popped into my head when I spilled the juice, because I felt like I had time to do this and that and this before I left for work. But then I spilled the juice, and of course it went all over the stove and down the side of the stove and on the floor, around the foot of the stove, and up the wall and down the cupboards and in the drawer, and it made a really big mess. And so it took a while to clean up. And then yesterday I accidentally messaged somebody that I stopped somewhere because I had to pee, and that person was a non-family member and non-close friend. And I didn't mean to group text that person. We had a laugh about it, but still, it was a boo-boo. And I did something else too. So I'm noticing I'm making some errors. So maybe in this space of flow in daily life, one needs to allocate time for errors of some kind. So I'm not sure if I'm slowing down, if my brain is slowing down. It does feel like it's losing flow. I wouldn't say it's focus, but when I lose that flow and it feels like my brain hits a wall, the simplest task seems really challenging. And this is definitely one of my early warning signs on my RAP plan is simple linear tasks become very challenging. And I've been working on being linear lately, and I've made a couple of pretty good documents through Dropbox paper. And I'm planning to share that with somebody that it could be helpful to. So I've been making that document. It's quite complex and lots of different factors, and I think of ideas to put in it, and then I put it in the right place in the document. So I'm seeing that I'm not necessarily having trouble being linear. Sometimes I can lose track of time, or sometimes I can, so many different things. But I feel like maybe those elements happen when I'm on the wrong path or putting my energy in the wrong direction. Because I've been in this flow of creation for weeks. I'd say probably nearly 3 weeks. And now all of a sudden when I'm getting back into peer support, my brain is starting to shut down. And I see how this could apply to other people, where sometimes we can be seen as non-functional, but when we're being pushed, or not even pushed, but the main way of functioning is like a 9-to-5 job or a functional job, the brain has trouble functioning in that direction, and it has a lot of capacity to function in other directions, but those other directions are directions that aren't part of the way society works and is deemed as functional. So after tomorrow, I won't have any peer support for a while because I'm going to the island. So we'll see if my brain goes back into some semblance of flow. I need to do a couple documents for peer support and do this first aid and then have a break. It's all the paperwork and all the documents, and maybe I don't have a problem with paperwork and documents, but I do when it's retrospective, like what did you do, or blah 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 blah, record this, record that. But if I'm creating something, then my brain can do it. But going backwards, I think that's a problem. It's not as much being linear as it is going backwards. That's why I don't even feel like I can necessarily go backwards and look at what I've talked to myself about, because it's going backwards. Because that is denying the infinity of the creative process, feeling like, oh, I have to go back to remember something, to utilize it. If one doesn't do that, the next creative thing comes into consciousness. So it's messing with the creative process and the creative flow to go back and think, oh, I need to contrive something. And it seems like I can pull from stuff from the past if I'm utilizing it to create something useful or helpful or something. I really don't know, but I'm noticing that my brain is just like, oh. And the rain is back. I've been in summer since February. Here comes the rain.